We are recording. I repeat again, do we all recognize that table?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
What is it about? Anybody, what is this table about? Anybody?
So the long formula for the product momentum.
The
sigma.
The long formula for the product moment thing, the sigma, they have a whole set of sigmas in it, right?
Yeah.
And the long formula is an instrument to measure what? What are we measuring with that long formula? Anybody? What are we measuring with this long formula? Starting with C.
Cumulative frequency.
Someone said cumulative frequency. Anybody else would like to agree or differ? Say it again.
Coefficients.
Coefficients. Anybody else?
So correlation.
Right. Correlation. Coefficient. That's what we are measuring with this long formula. Correlation coefficient. And can anybody give us an idea as to what that term means? Because I want to encourage you all to try to be as scholarly as possible. Reading, a little paying that the new, you're going to learn new terms, you look up its meaning. Correlation coefficient. So this is called the Pearson's product moment formula. Here it is, Pearson's product moment formula. And it has a lot of sigmas in it, and it is used to measure the correlation coefficient. Actually, there's a little error there. This is missing a sigma, another sum. Okay. All right. And here too also, sigma is missing there. Yeah, can anybody give me a little definition in your own terms, in your own words, as to what correlation means? Correlation in statistics. If you want, you can look it up. That's what I'm going to do in a while, after I get a response. Anybody rapidly, in your own terms, what do you think correlation coefficient means? I repeat, this formula is to measure coefficient correlation or correlation coefficient.
Antigen.
Say that again?
So a relationship between two or more things.
A relationship between two or more things. Okay, between two or more things. Instead of things, what word can we use?
Figures.
Figures, what else?
Variables.
So variables.
Variables, all right? So let's just, this is value, you have to look it up. So repeat what you said again.
A relationship between two or more variables.
A relationship, okay, so it's a measurement. All right, a very important word here. It's the measurement, it's a measure, it's a measurement of the relationship between two variables. Okay. And this relationship can be measured using Pearson's. What other formula we use to measure correlation in this course, apart from Pearson's? Anybody? Here we are analyzing, we analyze how to measure correlation using Pearson's product moment. But we did analyze correlation using another formula.
Spearman.
Spearman's, okay? Spearman's. I know we've got a lot to do with not one course alone you are doing, but you have to try to do things simultaneously. Always take little notes, feed your mind. Always, it's a technique, okay? And so always do that. Okay, so we have done, and the way I've structured this, you can keep track of what we are doing. You know, it's not all over the place. So use that opportunity to, you know, so we have done Spearmans already, and we have done Pearsons, and that's the whole form. That's all the whole logistics as to how to use that formula. We broke it up into 6 numbers and we cut it in half into 3 numbers, and we have calculated a measurement of the correlation between 2 variables. What variables? Hours of study and your score. And we calculated the coefficient of determination and the interpretation thereof, and we're going to part E now. Use the results in part C to determine the gradient and the y-intercept of the equation of the line of best fit. This gradient and y-intercept can be inserted here because a more elaborate definition of coefficient correlation is of the keyword is missing there. We can put it without the word, it's not wrong, you know, but to be more specific, linear relation. Okay. And whenever you would use linear, whenever we hear the word linear, have anybody done college algebra 1? Have you heard that word linear in college algebra 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, and what does the word linear remind us of?
Right.
A straight line, and what else? What does it bring to memory? Starting with y is equal to
MX plus C.
Plus C.
mx plus c. Okay. So let's go over that again. Correlation coefficient can be viewed as the measurement of the linear relationship between 2 variables, x and y. And once you hear the word linear, you're thinking of a straight line, which has a gradient and a y-intercept. Okay, and that's what this part is all about. Determine the gradient and the y-intercept of the equation of the line that best fit this linear regression, and then write it in that form. Your solution, you can get this in week 8, page 1 and 2, but here we're going to demonstrate using our information. I'm sure we can recall the word gradient, and I'm sure we can recall the letter M, and I'm sure we can recall rise over run, right? Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. But here now, this is not what we're going to be doing on the product moment linear regression. We're going to apply this formula to calculate the gradient. It is in the list of formulas. You can look it up. You'll be provided with the list of formulas, so you don't have to memorize the formulas. Just be able to use them. Now, as you are looking at this formula for gradient, I'm sure some things look familiar, isn't that so? I'm sure we can agree that some things in this formula looks familiar. And this is the reason why the question says, use the results in part C. Okay, we're going to come to it in a while. Y-intercept. Here's the formula to calculate C, the y-intercept. All right. Again, this is in the list of formulas. As a scholarly person, you can look it up, take a look at it as you're watching it, as I'm doing that. Okay, because learning is an activity. All right, learning, you cannot sit there and just learn. For that to happen, they might have to put a chip in your brain and then just download all the information. But to learn something, you have to be, it's physical and it's mental also. You have to be doing things. Okay, so as I'm writing this, you can actually compare this with the list of formulas that was provided. You know where it is. All right. So let us take this formula for gradient and let's put it side by side now with the formula for product moment. And I would like some observations. Say something. Anybody? Anybody say something? Anything? Here is the product moment formula. Here is the formula for gradient.
So the numerator is the same?
The numerator is exactly the same.
So just that it don't have the C,
Just that it don't have the what?
the C part, like the second piece to the A denominator.
Oh, in the denominator, no. Okay. The numerator is exactly the same. And when you look at the denominator now, you're not seeing the second part. What else is missing? And what is there?
So you have to square nothing
If you don't have to square nothing, what you mean?
in the, in the denominator.
In the denominator, did we
You
have
have
to
to find the square root.
Oh, the square root? No, there's no square root sign in the denominator. But as you can see, this section there is exactly the same, right? That little piece there is exactly the same. Okay?
Yes,
What length?
and you don't have to times nothing.
You have to times nothing. So it's just two of them. What letter did we give that numerator? A capital what? Last class, what letter did we give that numerator?
What A?
A capital E. What letter did we give that section there?
So B.
A capital B. All right, let's go lower down. A, B, and C. All right, this formula can be simplified, and we either do that simplification to capital A over the square root of B times C. All right, and we did that there. This is A. Okay, this here is A. We got A to be 15054. We got B to be 13418. And we got C to be 18786. Okay. Now, when these questions have been structured, I will always structure it that way, whereby a linear regression will come right after a product moment. So I will not force you to go and recalculate, give you a new set of values and recalculate all of this, the sum of x, y, and the rest of it. You know, it will be pointless. So you